Let's talk about the best gadgets in Fortnite Save the World. This might seem like a fairly trivial topic, especially for a tier list, as there are only 8 gadgets in the game, but they are all completely distinct from each other and have different uses. Some of them are better than you might think, and let's go over it now because brand new players might not know which ones stand out. So, there have also been 3 main changes. I'll go over these right now. Adrenaline Rush heals you, Airstrike will drop a bunch of bombs on the different enemies, then we've got the banner, which will make your walls super thick for a little while and give you a respawn point. Hover turret will actually just shoot stuff for you. Then you've got proximity mines, which is the first change I'm going to talk about. It has a reduced cooldown from 60 seconds to 45 seconds per mine, which is not much, but there you go. And the range just went from 1.25 to 1.5, which is kind of nice. And I missed the banner here as well. The cooldown is significantly reduced. It used to have a 300 second cooldown. Now it's 180. For those counting at home, that's 5 minutes down to 3, which is great because that means you can place the banner 2 or 3 times into defense. If you're just in a standard defense of like an Atlas 8-minute defense, 5 minutes means you're placing your banner once and it's still on cooldown at the end of the mission. Now you can place it twice, maybe 3 times if you placed it earlier. Kind of a cool change. Slow fuel will just slow enemies down in its radius, very effective. And then you've got the supply drop, which is the biggest change of all. It says 110 wood, stone, and metal. It's actually 150, and I made an entire video on how good it was. I suspect, or I figure with my math, it got 8 times better because they made the woodpecker metal more. Then it drops at least 2 crafting items when it used to be 1 in quantities of at least 2 each, which used to be 1. And then it also drops 3 traps up from 1. So it is at least 8 times better. It is really, really effective, and they reduce the cooldown significantly. So they effectively cut the cooldown in half, drop the amount of items by 2, and the quantity by 2. So that's 2, 2, 2, 8 times better. That's how I got there. It's really, really effective. The supply drop on its own is effectively just a farming loadout. Literally in this video, I showed a Gadgeteer loadout where if you're just reducing the cooldown, this is like her in the lead alone is basically your farming build. Everything in support is for anti-material charge because you do have to wait for the supply drop. You don't want to just stand there for a minute and a half, but you could. A lot of people are just putting supply drop in their support when they just play the game. And by support, I mean like it's just your gadget with nothing spec'd into it. You don't even have Gadgeteer in support. It's just on its own. Then a teleporter, which can teleport you and projectiles around the map. So that's a quick overview of every gadget in the game. I'm going to talk through which ones are the best and which ones are the worst. S tier are the meta gadgets, in my opinion, based on all of the things that people do in this game, and then we'll rank down from there. So first one's Adrenaline Rush. This one's super simple. It heals you, your teammates, and it should heal defenders. That has been bugged for a long time to work and not work, depending on the update, but it should heal them, and when it's fully upgraded, it will actually revive people instantly. It's actually so effective that I kind of get annoyed when people use it sometimes, because if you're in the Storm King fight, if you can revive someone normally, do that, because that instant heal, stand up, let's go back to the fight on multiple people at once is so effective that you should really save it for the moment when you need it, because a 150 second cooldown, especially in the Storm King fight, means it's going to be a while. You might not get another Adrenaline Rush off before it's too late. Airstrike is easy C tier. This is up from F tier. I was actually running this in game today. It cannot kill a smasher in the end game. In my opinion, if I'm waiting 2 minutes for a single strike, as this footage shows, it should kill a smasher. And it doesn't, even in this little clip that they recorded long ago. So that might have been the early game. You know, this is old footage anyway. The intention is that this is your, like, you know, your panic strike. It's not your last defense ever, but if I'm going to drop an airstrike with a 2-minute cooldown, it should kill the enemy. Some people do use this in the Storm King fight. It does not melt the Storm King. It's more like 1/8 of its health. So if everybody ran airstrike, that's like half of its health gone right away. I don't know if that's optimal, but I'm putting it up in C tier. I will say it'll handle a large crowd of enemies. It's a thing you can use if you're just messing around. It's not useless, okay? F tier is like, I don't even know why you would try. I will say, in the current version of the game, I don't think there's anything in F tier, so for what it's worth. Banner, I put it in A tier before. I might put it in S tier, because the way that I'm ranking today is a little generous. I want this to be the kind of gadgets that meta players, you know, advanced players who know what they're doing, would probably use all the time. So Banner, I used to not like it because it only increases building health by 45 seconds. However, if you know you're in a smasher wave, and you know the mini boss is coming in, and you really need to defend against that, a 250% boost to your walls is extremely effective. Earlier in game, it went from like 1960 brick to like 4900, something like that. It was a lot. It was a big bump. And I know it's only 45 seconds. It's not a big deal. But if the mini boss is coming in and you know you're about to be distracted, putting it right back down is kind of cool. They also have a shockwave that deals damage to enemies. In my opinion, that's funny. They boosted that damage. There is no circumstance where you're ever really using it for the shockwave, but I'll take a bump to it anyway. And then, of course, once it's placed, that's a respawn point, which means if any of your teammates die, or maybe you died, which has never happened before. It's always the teammates. It's always the teammates. You can just run straight on back. And that's kind of a nice thing. Of course, defenders are now healing you, but I think there's enough utility here that's funny, where I put it in A tier, but I am never, ever upset if a teammate's running banner. So I think S tier is finally fair. Proximity mine did get buffed. Wider range, shorter cooldown. I still think it's D tier. The only thing I've ever heard that was useful was Demon Gamer in our chat today on stream. Twitch link down below. Come hang out. He mentioned, I heard a strategy. He mentioned that he puts down all 10 when grinding like the Inferno dungeon or any boss fight in dungeons. And if you can get all 10 down, they explode for like a combined total of like 6 million damage. That's enough to nuke a boss, but it's an animation to place down the proximity mine, which is really slow. I tried it out today and it was really just disappointing. It works. It's fine. Again, it's not F tier. If you really wanted to mess around with it, you could just stack them up around the end of your base by your tar pits, let it hit smashes as they come in, but it would take you about 30 seconds, I think, to place and to prep all of those different charges, and I just don't think it's worth it. I don't know. I feel like you could spend that time using your weapons, but if it suits your playstyle, you might want to give it a try. I just don't recommend it. Slow field is, again, one of those panic picks where you know the mini boss is coming in, you know you need to focus on them. I know people to run the slow field just for the mini boss or smashers, which is really what you should save it for. I like that their little picture is for normal enemies. That's just a demonstration thing. That's nothing you should ever do yourself, in my opinion, but slow field is just S tier. The utility is amazing. Like, I don't like running it myself. Everybody who's watched my videos knows that Adrenaline Rush drones is my main kit, but that just suits my playstyle. I'm not ranking these in any order, by the way. How could you possibly compare these? They're all good in their own use cases, but whenever a constructor runs slow field, I'm always glad that somebody has it. You don't even need to be a constructor. It's just nice to have. Obviously, supply drop is S tier. I'll even put this in like number 1 S tier. The amount of resources you get, I mean, I said it earlier, it is your farming loadout on its own. It gets you every resource in the game delivered to your front door, shared with all your teammates in large quantities on a short cooldown. What the fuck, Epic? That is so good. It is so good. Farming in this game is optional if you're willing to give up one of your damaging gadgets or one of your utility gadgets for a supply drop. It's so effective. The teleporter, I'll put it in like B tier. It has its place. Teleporting around is not really something you need to do, especially with the mobility that we have in this game. We have traps for moving around. We have a lot of mantling and sprinting and tact sprinting. It's really not necessarily. I have seen Archer's tactic where he faces 2 teleporters into each other. You shoot a Xenon bow or something and it just hits the same enemy 400 million times. That's kind of cool, but really hard to set up. So I'll put it in B tier because there's a ton of utility. Maybe in Frost Knight you can, teleport to the top, but I don't know. It just never seemed to do much. And I'll put the drones in like low S tier. I use these all the frickin' time, as you guys know. I like the fact that it can hold pressure, damaging an enemy, like a large health enemy. I did the math on like, in the end game, based on the 15,250 damage it was doing, if it's shooting 6 times a second, up for 30 seconds, it's about 2.7 million. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. It's about 2.7 million damage throughout that 30 seconds, which is half a smasher just for throwing a drone. So it really does, even in the end game, a decent job holding back the small crowds of enemies, and I like it. Throwing down a couple of drones during a mini boss is just an extra 5 million damage. When you put it like that, that's pretty useful. That's actually pretty helpful. So yeah, I like hover turrets because I'm just going to speak to my own playstyle here. I like running around and shooting the things that usually I'm a ninja or a soldier. Very rarely am I a constructor. I know Boom Base isn't set up. We were doing something weird, but it was almost always adrenaline. Here in the bottom right, you can see it's always adrenaline rush turret, adrenaline rush turret. That just suits my playstyle all the time. And one time we had, of course, the supply drop there. But even in constructors, I get so used to like throwing a turret when I talk to chat or something that I still don't prefer to have slow feel, because if I'm running constructor, we're usually just AFK a V-Buck mission, so it all suits your playstyle. I think we have 5 clear S tier gadgets and some fun ones if you feel like messing around. So hopefully this was helpful to all the new people playing Save the World. I'm a little surprised I got 10 minutes out of this topic, but honestly, like I said, every single gadget is completely unique, and we had some fun stuff to talk about. So subscribe, like the video, code Mista at your checkout, Twitch link down below, and if you like yummy energy drinks that are fairly healthy for you, MACG link down below. I say fairly because I'm not a health expert, but you know, it's not bad. It doesn't have the usual chemicals that people hate. So check it out, link down below. Use my code. I appreciate it. See ya.